Hey guys, this is R for Trans Youth once again. And I've been better lately, but today I yet again have missed my Tuesday. And, I noticed that no one has done a video yet this week, so I still am going to be starting the topic. Hopefully people follow up on it. But I'm going to do two topics this week because there was as well the topic that Erica covered on her day on Sunday. And that was a topic that I actually suggested, and I have a pretty good opinion on it. So I don't want to miss that topic as well. So I am going to, well, let's start with the first one. What do you think of corporate LGBT groups, and which ones are in your area and most helpful to you as a trans person? Well, in my opinion, the ones that are most helpful to trans people are the ones that are only for trans people. It's nice to have those group discussions with other people from other areas of the LGBT community, like lesbians and gays and, everything else under the rainbow. But I find in those kinds of groups, all the others get pushed down, and the focus is mostly on the lesbians and the gays. That's because they're obviously the biggest part of the LGBT community. And yeah, in the groups that are for the LGBT community as a whole, they're just what shine through more than anybody else. And like say for example, there was a LGBT group when I was in college. I probably mentioned this in a past video. I was in college for one semester, and there was an LGBT group at the school. It was more a gay group because from other parts of the LGBT community, I mean like the pansexual and the intersex and all that kind of stuff, there was no one. Which, not to say that they just weren't allowed to join the group or anything, they're just either there wasn't anyone like that at the school, or they were just not open about who they were. Who knows, but really the group was just a gay group because everybody in the group was gays and lesbians. I myself was the only trans person. I think I only went to one or two meetings because they didn't discuss anything trans related. I mean, I was the only trans person there, so so the groups that are really helpful for us as trans people are the ones that are specifically for us. Like, and I know I've mentioned this before, there's a group in Toronto called Gender Journeys, and it basically started out my not started out. I had been living full-time for about 3 months when I started going to that group. And it was fantastic. It taught me a lot about transition and such. And actually the guy who ran the group, I didn't have to go see a psychiatrist or anything. Well, I guess in a way I did, but the guy who ran this group, he himself was a doctor. And through him, after going to the group for, I think it ran for about 3 months, from October to December. And after the group, he himself gave me my prescription for hormones. So I began my hormones like 2 or 3 weeks after that group ended. And if you live in the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, I suggest going to that group. It's worth the commute. If you don't live inside the city, it's worth the commute. I guarantee it. And hopefully Rupert is still running it because he's a really cool guy, actually. He's a trans man himself. Yeah. So I guess that's what I have to say about that. Well, actually, there's a group here in Oshawa, which is where I'm living now. It's close to Toronto, but not in Toronto. I've come across some LGBT groups as well. I haven't attended their meetings yet, but I've been thinking I would go to some. I'm expecting the same kind of thing though, like the biggest focus being on the lesbian and gay community, and not anywhere near as much on trans people. But maybe I'll do a video about that on my personal channel after I've gone to some. If you're an Oshawa person, which, I've met 1 or 2 other trans people from here, from this area, so maybe there are some that watch my channel as well, I don't know. Then I'll let you know about that. Okay, so second topic, and that one is one that I came up with, as I said. Do you find being a trans person who's a bit farther in their transition, do you find that your insecurities go from being the insecurities of someone transitioning, aka no breasts, facial hair, blah blah blah, to being the regular, like the same insecurities that every other young woman has? And yeah, I say yeah, I do. Maybe not in every situation, but in mine, I certainly feel that they have. Actually, I was talking with my doctor about this the other day. She was asking if I was happy with what the hormones have done for me, and I was like, and I told her, well, my boobs are kind of small, but you know, that's a problem a bunch of girls have. They're not happy with the size of their breasts. So that is not something I can complain about specifically as a trans person. That's something that many cis girls are not happy with as well. They also want bigger tits. Actually, somewhat smaller tits as well, which, you know, if you're a double D or something, I can understand that. I don't want to be that big. I just want to have nice cleavage, pretty much. But yeah, I get that. Like tan as well. Like, I'm very white, so I need to go and tan, or else I won't show off much parts of my, much skin, pretty much. Because, as I said, and I believe it was my 2-year on HRT video, you just start to become more comfortable with yourself, I guess, the longer you've been on them. Like, it has kind of a placebo effect, I feel, where you just are like, I've been on them this long, my body has changed this much, I feel like I'm just like every other girl now, even though you always were, I mean, in most ways, but yeah, that's just how it is. So yeah. Another thing was my hair. I mean, it's kind of bad to say that a girl needs to have long hair, because she certainly doesn't. I know some girls who rock short hair really well, but in my personal case, I with short hair look extremely disgusting. So you know, that when it was a bit shorter, I was very insecure about it. And you know, a lot of trans girls are, and there's a simple solution to it called a wig. And yeah, again, something I've probably told you guys before. I've tried out the wigs, I've tried out the fake breasts and all that shit. I feel extremely fake wearing stuff like that. I like being all natural, you know? I can't have this fake hair on my head. It just is weird feeling. I've even tried extensions, and it was the same. Like, it just wasn't me. It looked good, sure, but no, it wasn't me, right? So, you know, my hair is growing. It's about shoulder length now, maybe a bit past shoulder length. Yeah. Yeah, and I still want it to be at least double as long as it is now, but, you know, it'll get there in its own time. The length it is now isn't bad, like, I guess I wouldn't be complaining too much if it decided just to stop growing right now. I can still work with this length, but I do want it to be a bit longer. Yeah, so, do I still have those same insecurities that I had when I was pre-transition? Or not pre-transition, but pre-hormonal, I guess. Well, let me think of what they were. Again, as I've said before, facial hair was never a major issue for me. I think I must have been born with some kind of testosterone deficiency or something, because really body hair as a whole has never been a big issue for me. Like, even before HRT, I never really had to shave or anything. I think I probably would every now and again, just to be 100% sure that there was nothing there, but I don't think it was even really necessary. And even now, every now and again, I will go and do this, you know, just get any possible hair that might be there away. But I think it's probably more I'd be really embarrassed if I got caught with a bit of stubble going around, you know? But with the HRT, that's really not even supposed to happen. And again, there are women that get little bits of stubble as well. So, you know, it's not like if someone catches you with a little bit of stubble on your face, it's not like they're going to be like, she's a trans woman. You can't necessarily say that, because a lot of cis women as well can get bits of facial hair. It's just something that affects some people. Yeah. And what else was I self-conscious about back then? I don't know. You know what, though? I am self-conscious about my weight. I weighed myself about 2 weeks ago. I'm up to 170 pounds. Oh my. And I think probably about when I started my hormones, I was, I don't know, but I was a skinny bitch. Maybe somewhere around 125, 130 is where I was then. And that can be blamed on the hormones. Maybe not completely on the hormones, but partially on the hormones. No, and as well, part of the blame goes on myself, because I eat like a fucking pig. I eat a lot of candy and shit and pop, and when I'm at work, there are like 4 or 5 fast food places down the street from my work. And oftentimes on my break, that's where I'll go, to either McDonald's or Subway or A&W or Quiznos or Mama's Pizza, or I don't know. All those places are within literally like a 30-second walk of my work, so it's really, it's bad. Yeah. So, I don't know. I need to stop that, and that's yet another insecurity that a lot of girls have. Unfortunately, there are a lot of girls that are like this big and are still insecure about their weight, as in they're insecure that they're overweight, not underweight, but, and that's quite sad. So that's another one I've gotten since I started hormones, and I really need to work to lose the weight, because I want to look good for the summer. I want to look thin for the summer. Yeah. So I guess that's my response to that, is yes. And again, I say that probably doesn't affect everyone. Like maybe someone who starts their transition older, because me and pretty much everyone else on this channel are younger trans people. Our bodies probably weren't fully developed. I mean, I started HRT at 19, so my body was mostly developed, but not fully developed when I started hormones. So, you know, they did affect a little bit. As I said, I'm very jealous of the girls who started when they were like 12, pretty much didn't even go through male puberty, but, you know, I can't go back in time and do that, so shame on me. Yeah. Yeah, so this is Zara for Trans Youth. You guys know the drill. If you want to ask us a question, email it to transyouthchannel@gmail.com. Yeah, so comment, subscribe,